Are you ready? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stephanie, and today I'm here with my best friend Kendall. She did the Camino Frances with me in May of 2018, and most of these questions that we're going to be answering today are going to be relevant to the Camino Frances. So some of them could be applied to the other Caminos. We haven't walked those, so we're not entirely sure, but the majority are probably going to be more tailored to the Camino Frances.
Let's get rolling.
Question 1. Where does the Camino start?
Starts in the end of France, the bottom part of France. It's very cold there.
Yeah, in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port is where the Camino Frances begins.
How much should I budget?
Question 2.
Well, I saved about 1,000 and it was not enough.
We went a little, obviously you can do it on less money. We just, when we're tired, we just kind of were like, we're gonna treat ourselves.
But we didn't honestly really spend that much either. Like we weren't buying a lot of things. We were very minimal with what we were spending on, but it just added up every single day because you would have some type of breakfast. Usually breakfast was free, but lunch and dinner maybe came out to about $30 in the end.
Yeah, I would say our majority cost was probably food throughout the day. We also stayed in sometimes like hotels rather than the albergues, which that was a splurge kind of night for us, depending on if the albergues were
But
full.
the hotels were like $20 max for a night. So.
Yeah, that we just shared. So if you're traveling with other people, you can definitely split a hotel room and make it cheaper. Okay, question number 3. How long does it take to walk the whole way?
It took us about 34 days, and we walked pretty much every mile that was like requested to walk.
Yeah.
Or that you should, what is the word?
That was in our book. Or
It starts with an R.
required.
Required. That's required to walk. We pretty much walked it all. And sometimes we walked more because we wanted to have a rest day.
Yeah.
There was one day we walked like 40 miles.
Yeah, I think
we died.
Yeah. We only took 2 rest days. The way we planned it, well, we didn't really plan it. So that's why we had booked our flight and realized if we just walked the given amount in the guidebook, we weren't going to have a rest day. So some days we would walk more. But that was like kind of, I feel like the average, because some people walked it pretty
Maybe we
fast.
could have had one more rest day. It would have been nicer.
Yeah.
Like towards the end, because at the end you're kind of just exhausted and you want to get there. But it depends on how long you want to stay in the towns, because some people don't have somewhere to be and they can walk it for as long as they want.
They didn't book a flight or anything, so they could take their time. Question number 4, should you book accommodation beforehand? I say like we didn't book anything until getting on there, but we also didn't account for a holiday at the beginning of our walk, and all the accommodation was full for about the first 3 days. So you definitely want to make sure you're not going to be walking when there's a Spanish holiday, because a lot more people are out on the trail.
Yeah, other than that, you can just show up and there's usually bumps for everyone.
Yeah.
Most of them hold like 100 beds, and then the smaller ones hold like maybe 30. But there's like a bunch of albergues, so.
Yeah, and sometimes you could call ahead in the morning and make a reservation and say, okay, you'll be arriving at this time, like the day of, and usually you won't have any problems.
Yeah,
and we walked in May, and that was probably the busiest month, May and September.
Which part is the hardest?
I would say the first day.
But the first day, it's the tallest mountain, and you reach snow levels, but you have like a bunch of adrenaline, so I don't know if that was the hardest day.
Or also that day when there's another steep part of the trip where we were walking downhill.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of hard.
Your ankles and just knees start to get really tired, but the first day is in the books the hardest because it's the tallest and longest mountain you're gonna climb.
Is the Camino safe? Question number 6. Yeah.
We were worried sometimes, like maybe like in the bigger towns, when you're just have your eye on your bag and you're fine.
Yeah, there was even warnings in our guidebook to just make sure you keep an eye on your stuff in the bigger cities like Leon and Burgos and Astorga, just for petty theft, honestly. But we didn't have a problem. I don't think
And
I heard of
honestly,
anything.
being a woman, you're probably more nervous to walk it if you're walking alone, but there's so many people around you 24/7 that you never really are alone.
And people watch out for each other.
Yeah.
Like, people will watch out for you and make sure you're okay.
It's like a big family community.
Yeah. Question number 7, do you experience bed bugs on the trip? We didn't have.
No, we're
Yeah.
I don't know if we were lucky or if now the hostels kind of were cleaner than maybe, because we read a bunch of articles that prepare for bed bugs, spray your stuff, wear like a silk bed sheet.
So bed liner.
Yeah.
See, I brought a little thing of permethrin, which you'll see a few people do, and you spray your bed beforehand. I didn't spray every bed, and
I barely sprayed any of my beds.
She barely sprayed, and we didn't have any problems. I know it can be a problem if you're just unlucky, but I also didn't hear of anyone on our Camino that did get bed bugs, so I don't think it's as common
anymore
as you might think. Yeah.
When is the best time to walk the Camino? I say we went at a pretty great time.
Mm-hmm. I would say May or September. I think the summer would be too hot.
There is like a week where you're kind of in the desert area. There's no trees, and that was really hot, but it was still like doable. It wasn't.
Yeah. And we were also starting late, so I'm sure if you start earlier in the morning during that, it's the Meseta region. If you start earlier, you won't get the heat as much. If you end earlier in the day, we just walked, we had a late start every day. Yeah. And we were still fine. Nothing sticks out to being too hot. We're also from Florida, so we know what really
Orlando, Florida,
hot is.
humid.
Question number 9. What is the most common route? Do you know?
Like the one we walked.
Yeah. The Camino Frances.
There's like a million albergues on this route.
Yeah, it's well kept up. Lots of people walk it each year, and it's growing even more so. I think that's definitely the most common. I think the second most common is the Portuguese route. So.
Do you have to speak Spanish?
See, I spoke a little bit that I remembered from studying abroad, and I think it was easier, but I think most people...
Yeah, everyone kind of knew a little bit of English. And then there were people who didn't even speak English, and they still got by.
Yeah. So I think a lot of smiling and pointing and... to what you want.
Yeah.
That I always encourage people, if you're going to a country or traveling, try and learn the most basic things like a greeting or, simple questions. I think they appreciate, even if you're not fluent or...
Yeah, if you don't get it right, they know you're trying. They're nicer to you.
Yeah, because they know you're trying to, they shouldn't have to accommodate you in any sense. Like, you should try, and then they're more friendly and more willing to help you out because they see that you're trying.
And also, since this route is the most popular one, all of the stops, everyone speaks English.
Yeah.
So especially the albergues, someone there speaks some sort of English.
And if not, there's a lot of people that do speak Spanish and English on the Camino, and they'll be willing to help you out or make a reservation for you or help you order if they see you're struggling. So yeah, people are nice. People are really kind on this trail. Question number 11. What shoes should you walk in?
Well, I walked in a pair of Nikes that I've had since high school, and I was fine till the very end. They just kind of gave out, and my left ankle just was done.
Yeah. I think you had trouble when it was raining.
They got wet one day, and then it was over. But I feel just walk in a pair of shoes that you're comfortable in. She got hiking boots, but didn't break them in.
Yeah, I did trail runners, and I didn't break them in. And I knew if I did break them in, they would have been comfortable, because towards the end I was fine, but they did give me blisters, and it was a struggle to begin with.
Yeah,
so.
But some people walked in sandals.
Yeah, Birkenstocks. I actually have a whole video I just put out. I'll link it down below, talking about the most popular shoes, which are trail runners, down below if you want to check that out. Question number 12.
Do you have to be religious?
No. It's a religious trail, but people walk it for all their own reasons. So,
but the churches are beautiful and very much recommend to go inside of them.
yeah,
It's breathtaking.
it is still part of the Camino. You don't have to be religious, but you definitely, to get the full experience, you're definitely going to want to check some of those out. Question number 13, is the Camino well marked? Yeah.
There was never a day where there was one day where we were confused. We were in like,
it was going into Burgos, I think.
yeah. There was like, sometimes there's like alternative routes and you can get confused on which one you're on, and maybe there's a sign for the other route and you get confused, but either way you're gonna get to the same destination, whatever route you take. Yeah,
and I think there's only, also too, another day, going into the towns, you do have to keep an eye out for the arrows, because it's not as, like, it's well marked, but they're just
you have to look harder.
Yeah, you have to
when
look
you're
harder.
in the wilderness.
Yeah.
There's a big sign. Where do you go to the bathrooms?
Anywhere.
Wishes.
So we have small bladders and had to, can I say that? I guess.
Yeah.
TMI, I don't know. We had to go quite more often than what probably a lot of people did. We drank a lot of water too, so I mean, it's not uncommon to go, you know, behind a bush or behind a tree. But also, if you can hold it between the towns,
then you're fine.
Then
obviously, for men, it's much easier for them, but
we had to scope out some locations. But question number 15: what is the accommodation like? Depends on where you stay. There's a variety.
Sometimes they're really nice, and sometimes you get what you pay for. Like the nights we spent €5 for a night, they were kind of rough. Like you sleep with like 100 people in there, and it's men and women, and so
there's a lot of snoring.
Yeah.
A lot of the municipal ones are in churches, or you're in a bunk bed with, you know, 50 other people in the room, and it's like a snoring orchestra in there. And then sometimes there's like hospitalitarios, I think that's what they're called. It's like the next step up. It's like smaller rooms, and then you have hotels. Obviously, if you want to take a break, you know, from staying in the massive dorm rooms, it can be refreshing. Yeah.
But then if you can't fall asleep with snoring like me, I had to fall asleep every night with music in my ears, and then my phone would die, and then I had to choose between cell phone to take pictures the next day or falling asleep with music.
Yes, and most of the time you chose sleep. Yeah, see, for me, I didn't have a problem with this snoring. I think I was just so tired that I slept through it all, only in rare cases.
But I didn't bring earplugs, so if I had earplugs, I think you probably would have been fine.
Yeah. Question number 16, is there laundry? Yeah. I think every place we stayed at
it's
had
like
laundry.
about €2 to wash and €2 to dry. And
if you split it with
people.
Yeah. I think it varies from like 2 to 7, I feel like was the most, but we all split it. If you find other pilgrims, because honestly, you don't have a lot to wash, so.
And a lot of people wash their stuff in the sink. Like they'll have free big sinks and soap to wash for free, or wash in the laundry.
Yeah.
Or a washer and dryer.
Yeah, we didn't actually wash any of our stuff by hand.
No.
I think.
We were a little.
That was another expense that we deemed to be very important.
Because we only had like 4 pairs of clothes, so.
Yeah, so we would do but we would only do laundry every like 4 days. So it wasn't like we were doing it every single day. Whereas people who were washing their stuff by hand would like go get into the albergue and wash their stuff.
And then dry it overnight.
And then dry it. But we had a couple pairs of clothes that we just every 3 to 4 days.
Yeah. Is there Wi-Fi? Actually, in a lot of, I think they upgraded a lot, and there's pretty much Wi-Fi every hostel you go to, and it's free.
Yeah.
So.
It's not like the best Wi-Fi, because you are also sharing it with, 50 other people, but it works,
But they don't like when you ask for Wi-Fi.
They think it's like, well, I think a lot of people is like, it's the Camino experience to be social and talk to other people and be in your thoughts. Yeah, and be kind of disconnected. But, not everyone can do that the entire 30 days, so.
Also, we had T-Mobile, so we had free mobile service out there, so it wasn't really a problem for us.
Yeah, which came in handy when we were GPSing places to see how far
we use the GPS
it walked.
a lot.
Yeah, just to see how far it was going to take to walk. Like, to follow the arrows is fine, but we like to get some kind of idea beforehand to mentally prepare. What is a good guidebook? We use Brierly.
Yeah.
It's the most common.
They're kind of all the same though. We saw a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And you really don't need the guidebook. You just need the maps in the guidebook that show you like each day, if you just want to see what you have to walk the next day and how many miles it is. Other than that, you could totally go without the guidebook and free will it.
And just whenever you want to stop, you just stop, or you decide like, oh, if you want to walk about an average 20 kilometers a day and get there in like 30 something days, then you'll be fine. But if you like to read on kind of the history and stuff, guidebooks are great. Sometimes we would read the night before and be like,
and sometimes the guidebooks tell you like which good albergues to stay in, and that was good to call ahead.
Yeah.
It had the numbers in there and how many beds it had, and if it had laundry or not.
Yeah, and kind of the facilities, whether there's a kitchen, which a lot of the places did have a kitchen if you wanted to cook your food, which is the next question, 19. What do you eat? So, bread.
Literally, breakfast, lunch, bread and
beer.
bread and beer. Literally.
Yeah.
Bread and beer.
Lots of bread. There's bread at breakfast.
And you would think you gained weight, but we actually lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And we had like maybe 6 beers a day, 3 loaves of bread.
Yeah. I mean, the typical breakfast is it's going to be bread or tortilla. Eggs is a lunchtime thing, eggs and bacon. Like, our breakfast food was like their kind of lunch food, I thought. You know, a lot of the times, or maybe we're just eating our second breakfast.
Pasta too. I got a lot of pasta. Because they have pilgrim menus in the albergues, which is like €9, and you get like a starter, your dinner, and then like a small dessert. It's nothing special, but
and then it would,
and you could choose.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. And most of it will either come with like wine or water.
The wine is cheaper than water, so you can know what we chose. Actually, I was allergic to all the red wine, so I resorted to water,
or white wine on occasion. That's how I got started on white wine, was being
well, that was like at restaurants, but in the albergues they only had like the red wines. Not that this matters, I'm probably the only human in the universe who's allergic to red wine, not white.
Question number 20. Where do you get your stamps? So you're gonna get your stamps at like the churches. The albergue stamp it every single night.
You could get your stamps. Sometimes even like little cafes will have stamps, just like extra fun ones to fill your whole thing up. I didn't fill mine up. Yes, I did.
Yeah,
you get like 2 passports because eventually you will fill it up if you do the whole Camino.
Yeah, we got our stamp. We got sometimes stamps twice a day, which actually from the last 100 kilometers, you have to get 2 stamps a day just to show that you're walking it rather than taking a taxi. Yeah, if you want the Compostela. If you're from Saint Jean to Soria, you only need 1 stamp a day, and that's what your passport that you get stamped is what's going to get you your Compostela at the end, if that's what you want. Just to show that you're walking the whole way. All right, and then do you want to do the bonus question, Kendall?
We have now reached our last question. Do you love to be in shape? Sure, this is cursive. Do you have to be in shape to do the Camino?
Do you love to be in shape?
I was like,
I saw like a variety. I think in some
it's good
sense,
to be in shape. I feel like everyone prepares for it. There was like 80-year-olds walking, and they prepared for like 6 months prior to this.
There's you can walk it pretty much any age. As a kid, there's kids that walking it. People of all different ages, shapes, sizes, fitness levels. Depends on the pace you want to go at. So if you're going, you can make it as easy as you want and only walk a certain amount of days until you get, into the groove of walking a bit more. You'll definitely build strength. But then some people start out really fit. Like there's 2 Marines, I think, from the beginning, and they were planning to walk it in like 15 days. Do you remember that? I don't know if...
I don't know.
Yeah, so they were at peak fitness level, not anywhere near what we could do.
And then also people cycle, which only
Yeah.
takes 9 days, which bamboozled us for like 30 days, and then you can do it in 9. Like,
It was...
but
I think
cycling looks so much harder. 'Cause
Yeah.
you have to go up mountains and...
Yeah, I definitely think they were struggling the first day through the Pyrenees. But also it'd be kind of cool to go back and cycle it and see the difference of the experience, because you're also, it's harder to talk to people, I feel like, if you're biking, you know?
Oh yeah. The bike crews stayed together.
Yeah.
You knew who was biking.
The bikers and the walkers.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
that's all the
You
questions.
could be any age, any level, and you could do this Camino.
Yeah.
If you have the right gear and preparation. We did it, and we
Yeah.
were alive. Also, our feet were pretty fine afterwards.
Yeah.
I had athlete's foot for about a month, but then it went away.
I think that's because you were showering without shower shoes, so that's...
And my shoes got really wet one day, and I walked in them. But
Oh, yeah. But yeah, thanks so much, you guys, for walking. If you like this video, please give it a...
Thanks for walking.
Oh.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel out, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos. And yeah,
Thanks for having me on your channel. It's been a pleasure being
Thanks
here.
for being on my channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye.